up you guys, this is Jen here and this is the Paris vlog. This is my first time visiting and I can't wait to show you all the aesthetic picture spots I found where you can take pictures like this, and this. And I'm going to show you all the restaurants we ate at so you know which ones to go to and which ones to avoid. And I'm going to show you all the fun activities that we did. So let's get started. As soon as we got off the plane and checked into our hotel, we went to visit this restaurant called Le Relais de l'Entrecôte. I'm so sorry I butchered that. So this place only has one menu item and it's steak and frites, and every single person I talked to recommended this place, so we were really excited to try it. We got there about 15 minutes before the restaurant opened and there was already a huge line. The line did move pretty fast when the restaurant opened, but we got cut off right before the first wave, so we ended up waiting about an hour in total. It costed about 30 euros per person, and we also ordered half a bottle of red wine, which costed around 20 euros, and that is the cheapest red wine I have ever gotten from a restaurant. The starter salad was really crisp and fresh, but the fries were a little bit on the greasy side. The steak portions were actually a little small, but the green sauce that it came with was really good. They do give you a second helping of steak, but still I'm not sure it was worth it. So I'm glad I tried it, but I don't think I would go back. After dinner, we went for a walk on a bridge, and it was so exciting to see the Eiffel Tower sparkle for the first time. And here's a pro tip. I know most people take pictures on the bridge, but if you take some stairs down to under the bridge, it's way less crowded, there's going to be no people in the background of your photos, and you still get all the beautiful details of the bridge. After the sunset, we walked back to our hotel and we walked by the Arc de Triomphe, and I think it looks way better at night than it does during the day. The next morning, we went outside to do a little walking, a little exploring, and we walked by this really cute brunch restaurant. It was like a Parisian cafe, super cute, good vibes. We walked in and the prices were atrocious. I should have known it was a tourist trap because the waiter outside spoke perfect English. But it was a cute place and we got to try escargot, which are actually pretty good. If you haven't tried it before, the texture is kind of like a mussel. It was a bit chewy, but it wasn't fishy at all.
That's pretty good.
They were served with some breadsticks and you can dip them into the escargot shell to get all that lovely sauce. We both ordered coffee and it was 8 euros each. And I made a mistake of asking for iced coffee when I should have ordered an iced latte because I was used to the iced coffees in Canada, which have milk and sweetener in them. My 2 pieces of plain crepe costed over 10 euros, and Kelvin got a beef stew with pasta that was actually pretty good, but it was over 20 euros. After blowing the whole day's budget on lunch, we went to see a free attraction de Notre Dame, but it was still under construction and honestly pretty underwhelming. But we did pass by the city hall called Hotel de Ville, and I managed to get some cute photos there. Not to mention the architecture is absolutely stunning. We decided to do some window shopping, which turned into real shopping, but if you want to see all the shopping we did in Paris, click on the link on the top right. After all that spending, we had a smaller budget for dinner, so we went to get shawarma at Chez Ellie, and it was one of the best shawarmas I've ever had. We saw so many cute cafes like this, but I'm pretty sure they were tourist traps. After dinner, we went to this place called La Rue de la Université, and I saw this place on TikTok and it had the most gorgeous view of the Eiffel Tower. But I guess TikTok ruins everything because it was super crowded. I could not get a single photo with nobody in the background. So here's the second hot tip. There's a way better spot for Eiffel Tower photos. You just have to walk a little bit. Go to the metro station called Alma Marceau and you will get the most beautiful Eiffel Tower photos. There's barely any tourists there. You will get a nice view of the skyline and a little bit of the river. Speaking of TikTok, there's this TikTok viral hot chocolate in Paris that I wanted to try so badly. The restaurant is called Correct, and we were still a bit jet lagged, so we got there around 10 or 11 a.m. and there was already a huge line. This place does not take reservations, and when I saw that line, I was about to walk away. But thankfully, we decided to wait a little bit and we got seated within half an hour. And here she is, the viral hot chocolate. It comes with a side of whipped cream that you can scoop up and stir inside your hot chocolate to make it more rich. And I'll be honest, I don't really like sweets, and this was way too sweet and too rich for me. But I ordered a flaky, salty croissant, and when you dip that in there, it was divine. We also ordered a club sandwich and the scrambled eggs, and the scrambled eggs were so flavorful and so creamy. The club sandwich was really delicious too, but you can't really screw up a club sandwich. We got one of the tables at the front of the cafe, and this is the view. The restaurant was really close to Le Palais de Chaillot, so we went there to walk around. And I know a lot of people get their engagement or their wedding photos done here, but there must be a lot of photoshopping because all the ledges were covered in graffiti. There's also a fine dining restaurant called Giraffe here, which has a really beautiful view of the Eiffel Tower, but it's impossible to get a reservation. So instead, let me present this option, Bambini. I found this place on accident because we were just walking by, but it was not crowded at all, and look at this view. To be fair, the Google ratings aren't very good, but if you only care about getting a cute pic with the Eiffel Tower, this might be an option. Now this one's for the fashion nerds, the Dior Museum. We went there kind of spontaneously, so we didn't buy tickets ahead of time, and that was a mistake because we had to wait over an hour in line. There's also a YSL museum in Paris, but I'm more of a Dior girly. It was really cool to learn about the history of the brand, learn about the life of Christian Dior, learn how he became a fashion designer. I learned that he owned an art museum in his 20s. This room with the vintage couture gowns was simply magical, and of course we had to end off by signing the guest book. Paris is the second most Michelin star city in the world, so of course we had to try some. The first restaurant we went to is called Contrast. The inside of this restaurant was just stunning. I felt like I was in a French castle. They had a few different options for tasting menus as well as wine pairings, but we just ordered one glass of wine because we're not big drinkers. And we got the 519-kilometer menu, which is 130 euros per person. As you can see, the visuals of this meal were absolutely stunning, but the taste was a little bit more confusing. This poached lobster in cream sauce was actually delicious, but most of the other items were either too tart, too bitter, too sweet, or the texture was too strange. By the end of the meal, we both agreed that each dish was overpowering and the whole menu didn't feel cohesive. Although the service was good and there wasn't anything wrong with the food per se, I don't think I will visit again. Thankfully, we were able to follow up that disappointing meal with a delicious brunch the next day at Azor Cafe. The prices here were much more reasonable and the food was delicious and cooked to perfection. After that heavy brunch, we went for a walk at Luxembourg Gardens. There's no admission fee and the grounds were so beautiful and relaxing to walk around in. I noticed that the way of life here is so much more leisurely and slow-paced. It was really a nice change from all the hustle and bustle in Toronto. It was the end of August, but there were still flowers blooming in the gardens, but the leaves were also starting to fall. After some more shopping, we went to Domaine National du Palais Royal to take some cute photos. I mean, look at this. This place also has no admission fee, but unfortunately when we went, the grounds were blocked off with tape. So we headed to our third free sightseeing location at Galeries Lafayette, and this place has a rooftop that has a beautiful view of the Paris skyline. At this point in the trip, we were really craving Asian food, so we went to a Chinese restaurant called Mian Fan, and it was actually really good and really affordable too. After a disappointing morning at Hermes on the last day, we headed to the Louvre. I highly recommend you buy tickets online because if you have pre-bought tickets, you can use this hack to skip the line. Instead of squeezing with everybody else to enter at the glass pyramid, there's another entrance at the back near where the Arc is. The Arc is under reno for the Olympics, but if you go to the right side, there's stairs that lead down directly into the museum. I saw this hack on TikTok and I was so surprised it worked.
It worked!
We waltzed right in, we showed our tickets, and we must have stayed at least an hour this way. Of course, we had to visit the Mona Lisa just to say we did it. Also took some pictures along the way, and this place was huge. We spent a few hours in here, but you can spend a whole day here if you wanted. After all that walking in the museum, we were hungry, so we went to Cafe Marley. Here's another hack for you. So we didn't make a reservation, and we went to the front, and we were told there were no more tables, but there's actually a back entrance. When we went there to inquire about tables, we were seated right away, and we got a table facing the glass pyramid. The view is obviously amazing, but this is one of those restaurants that you go to for the gram. Because the food was average at best, the prices were astronomical, and tell me why we got a receipt in our omelet. We were feeling some itis, so we went back to the hotel to rot on our phones, and on the way I saw this cute cafe and these huge teddy bears, but everybody acted like it was normal. Speaking of the hotel, I spent hours, and I mean hours, looking for the perfect hotel with the perfect cute Parisian balcony so I can take some cute pictures. And this is the hotel we ended up booking. It's called Hotel La A, and the balcony did not disappoint. We booked the junior suite, which was about $500 a night, and we stayed there for a total of 5 nights. It is pricey, but this was actually a really good price for a junior suite, and since we stayed 5 days, we got a bit of a discount. And I did put that balcony to work because look how cute these photos turned out. I'm going to be using this for my display picture for everything. We ended the trip with a dinner at another Michelin star restaurant, and this one was way better than the last one. The portions were generous. This whole heap is curried crab. The mains were cooked to perfection and the sauces complemented the proteins well. It was really nice to end our Paris trip on a high note because I remember when I first arrived, I was feeling really anxious because of all the stories I heard about pickpockets. But of course, there are sketchy areas in every city, and as long as you're careful in the high tourist areas, you'll be okay. Let me know in the comments if you think there's anything else I should visit on my next Paris trip. Until next time, bye!